welcome to episode 21 of the Yoshi and Lucy Knits podcast. My name is Denise, and you can find me on Ravelry as Canarysong. On Instagram, I am Yoshi and Lucy Knits, and I also have an Etsy store where I sell hand-dyed yarn, and you can find that at Yoshi and Lucy. So I'm recording maybe like a week after Rhinebeck, so I'm gonna do like a brief recap at the end. I have like 2 FOs this week, a whip, and then some acquisitions from Rhinebeck. So yeah, here we go. My first FO is, which is a brand new cast on for this week, and I did the Rose City Rollers Littles. So here's the pair. Ryan's friend recently had a baby, and he asked me if I can knit a pair of socks for her child. So I cast these on using leftover yarn that I had from some socks I made for myself. So this is cast on 40 stitches, which I believe is the 6 to 9 month size. And the yarn is my own yarn, Yoshi and Lucy, and this is a Kid from Brooklyn colorway. So yeah, these are cute. I cast these on Monday, and I finished them off on Friday. If I had more time, I definitely could have finished this in one day. You could definitely finish these in like a weekend if you wanted to. And so yeah, I think I'm gonna mail these out to her soon. I just have to weave in the ends. They look a little bit small to me, but I don't know anything about baby sizes. So since he was just born, I decided to knit a larger size because you know babies grow everything really quickly. And I had about 36 grams left of the yarn after I knit my socks, and the largest size I believe needs 60 grams. So that's why I decided to do the 6 to 9 month range. And my second FO, which I finished last night, is my vanilla bean striped socks. And I knit these in Knit Picks Felici in the Spooky colorway, which is a really old colorway from Knit Picks. I think this is like maybe 3 or 4 years old, and I had it in my stash for a long time, so had to knit these now for Halloween. So here's the finished object. I did an afterthought heel. The pattern was a standard heel, but since I knit most of these on my trip to Ecuador, I wanted to have something mindless, so that's why I just did afterthought heel. And so when I got home, I wasn't sure what color to use, if I was gonna use the same color or do something different. And then I was looking at my stash, and I have the color that I used. I ended up using Knit Pick Stroll in the Duchess Heather colorway, which matches the purple in this. So it was perfect, and I really like how it starts off. I didn't plan this at all. I just cast on the first pair with whatever color it was. So I like how it starts out with the purple in the cuff, and then the foot it ends in the purple, but then you get a little bit of this color here. And so I think it's a really nice match. I do have holes in the afterthought heel, and I was knitting these late at night last night, and I actually forgot to pick up one of the stitches, so I don't know if it was this one or the other one. I had like a stitch just like dangling there in the air, and Ryan was there, and I said, oh my god, I have a drop stitch, and he was just like, okay. But I was like freaking out trying to fix it. A good thing I noticed that before I blocked it, or it could have been a mess. So yeah, I have holes in these. It's not very neat. I need to work on not getting, when I pick up the stitches on the corners, I have to work on that. I think I pick up like 2 stitches, but obviously I'm not doing a good enough job on it because I end up having a hole, and I try to fix it, but then it just looks messy. I do know there's a pattern called smooth operator socks, I believe, and I think it has instructions on how to do it better afterthaw heel. I might have to look into that. Because I really do like that heel. I don't understand how some people don't. I feel like some people really hate afterthaw heels. And when they really hate it, they like really hate it. They don't just say, they're not just like blasé about it. They like have this hatred, and I don't understand. Maybe it's because of that, you know. But it was my first heel, so I always ain't gonna have like a special fondness for it. Especially with self-striping, I tend to just do an afterthaw heel. So yeah, I like how these turned out, and the patterning, as I said, it's a free pattern, so it's just a simple, when you get to the color change, you do a slip 1, knit 1 for that round, and then you just continue on knitting, and then you do that again when you do the color change, and it has like a nice effect. But because I can't control how the color changes go, sometimes in the row you would have the color change would be in the middle of the row, so I couldn't do the pattern until the middle of the row. I think right here you could see that. It's just plain here, and then I did slip 1, knit 1. But I don't really mind. I like the overall effect. So this is pair number 14 now, I think, for the box of socks cow. I really want to knit some more shawls. I maybe knit like 3 shawls this year, 3 or 4. One of them I gifted away, so I don't really have that many shawls. And I have I purchased shawl patterns, and I just haven't knit them yet. So once I get some gift knitting out of the way, I'm gonna cast on some more shawls. So my whip this week, well, it's a hoe. I finished the first of the blueberry waffle socks. And this is a gift knit that I'm doing for my friend Gina. And this is using my own hand-dyed yarn in the Many-Faced God colorway. So this was what I took with me to Rhinebeck. So when I was at Rhinebeck, I was at the gusset decreases, which I don't really like to be doing when I'm traveling, because then I'm afraid I'm gonna not pay attention and mess up. But it's the only thing I had on the needles that I wanted to work on, you know, at that moment. So yeah, I was up to the gusset decreases, and at Rhinebeck I finished maybe like half of the leg, and then I did the toe, and I really like the effect on how this looks. I think over here, because you have more stitches, it looks like that, and then once I get down to 64 stitches, it has like this sort of striping effect, which I really like. And so once I started seeing that on the foot, it made me think maybe I should have done this plain, like a plain sock, just because I like how it looks on the bottom, but it's alright. So I knit the foot to 8.5 inches total, and I believe that's her size. I've never knit, well, besides Ryan, I've never knit socks for anybody else, so I'm like a little nervous that these are too big for her, and to me she has really tiny feet compared to mine. But hopefully these fit her. If not, she can just have these as house socks, which is probably what she's going to use for anyway. And I did a Eye of Partridge heel, which I really like. And the leg is knit for 6 inches. So I cast on the second sock today, and I want to get these finished and out of the way, because I have other things I want to cast on. But I'm stopping myself because I want to finish these since they're a gift. And I have it in my little project bag that I made for myself ages ago, and I put my my pin on here, and I really like how it looks all together. So yeah, those are all my projects at the moment. Definitely I want to finish these this week, just to get out of the way, and then I have to start a pair for her husband, which I have to, it's going to be a larger sock, so I think I'm going to knit those just plain, because at this point I can knit pretty fast if it's just a plain sock. So yeah, and this is not blocked because I'm waiting, I'm resisting the urge to block this until I finish the second one, just because I want to make sure that it matches up, since these socks are not for me. So yeah, now I'm up to Rhinebeck recap and acquisition section. So I guess I'll do the acquisitions first. So this is my first time at Rhinebeck, and I didn't have any plans, and I didn't even really look at the vendors list. I just kind of walked around to see what interests me. And the first shop I found was one that I was familiar with. I follow them on Instagram, so decided to get some yarn from PRIMROSE Co., I think is the full name. PRIMROSE Yarn Co. And this is in the Luscious sock base. It's a 4-ply fingering, and it's 80/20 superwash merino and nylon. And this is the colorway Moonstone, and I really like this colorway, and you know that I'm obsessed with purple, and I like the purple and this dark green part in these. So these will probably be socks. So yeah, I'm trying to resist to buy sock yarn, but it's really hard because I don't plan, when I go to these events, I don't plan my shopping like, oh, I need X amount of yarn for this project. I just kind of go there, and then I just gravitate towards single skeins because, if I say sock yarn, I can always make socks. So that's why my sock yarn stash has exploded recently. And I also picked up this Neighborhood Fiber Co., which is a yarn company I heard of for the first time at Vogue Knitting Live this year. It was in January. And this is in the Studio sock base, which is 100% superwash from merino. It's 400 yards, and I really like this colorway, the neons with the browns and the grays. But I don't know if I'm gonna knit socks out of these because it's called Studio sock base, but it's only 100% merino. There's no nylon in it, and I've never knit any socks without nylon, so I don't know how well it holds up. If you have any experience, let me know. So I'm just gonna hold on to this for a while. And I did buy yarn from this company in January at Vogue Knitting Live, and I haven't knit anything with it yet. So yeah, just adding to my stash. So then I saw this this booth, and I had to buy something from it because I've been following this this person for a while, and since I knit my first sock blank this year, I knew what I was getting myself into. So I picked up, this is GALE'S art, and this is a sock blank in the watermelon colorway. This is a single stranded sock blank. Look at this. This is amazing. And it was just interesting when I went to that booth. There was other people that were looking at it, and there's particularly like one person that didn't know anything about sock blanks, and she was very confused as how it would knit up. And you know, the only sample they had there was in a shawl, so it's not, you know, when you knit a shawl out of a sock blank versus a sock, it's not going to be the same. And this, I don't think the person ended up buying anything because she just didn't understand what a sock blank is. But I know that these are probably not gonna be matching, but I don't really care. The ones the pair that I knit out of Andy's yarn, Andre Sue knits, they don't match, and I don't really care. I think the fun part about a sock blank is just seeing where the colors fall. So yeah, and it's just like a really cool pattern. And I was undecided between this one and another skein. I was just like, and then I just went for watermelon, which I'm glad I did. I think if I picked the other one, I would have regretted it. And finally, my last acquisition is this giant tote bag. Since this is my first year at Rhinebeck, I wanted to get like a souvenir, and they had like a souvenir tent, and it was just full the whole day. It was kind of nuts. There's like a line out the door, and so finally I didn't see the line outside, so I went inside, and there's another line inside the tent. So I just said, oh, I'll wait. So I kept checking back, and finally, maybe like 2 hours before the end on Saturday, there was very little people inside. So I picked up this tote bag, and so like the back too has like these little pockets, and it has like little sheep. I'm like obsessed with tote bags. I'm constantly using them, so I'm gonna get a good use out of this bag. And when we did the podcaster meetup, people were handing out buttons, so I started adding other people's buttons on here, which I'm gonna keep doing. I think I missed out on some buttons because there was just so many people there. But every event I'm gonna just keep adding buttons if I get some. So I got Legacy Fiber Arts, I got Yarngasm, which is Kristen Willowine Yarns, and I got Connie, which is indie dyer behind Chili Knits. So I guess I'll talk about the podcaster meetup briefly now. So yeah, it was a little bit nuts. It was very, I mean, this is my first Rhinebeck, so I felt overwhelmed either way. But I felt overwhelmed at the meetup because it was just like a madhouse of people everywhere. No sense of organization. When you get there, like everybody just like gravitates to the podcaster they want to meet, and I'm not gonna lie, I felt a little bit awkward because, you know, I have a podcast now for I don't know how many months now. This is my 21st episode, and nobody really knew who I was, so I felt a little bit awkward. So I felt like the unpopular kid at school. So I was pretty much standing there waiting to talk to podcasters that I already know of, that I met before, and try to meet new people. So at first, like, you know, a podcaster's there and they're talking to their fans or whatever. So I'm just like waiting for them to be done talking to them, and then, you know, I would try to jump in and say hi. And it definitely got better after the first hour because a lot of people met whoever they want to meet, and then they left. So by the end, it was just mostly just podcasting people there. So I was like awkwardly trying to hand out my button, like, oh, hi. And you know, some people knew my logo, which is interesting, I think, because I I've given my yarn away for, you know, giveaways on other podcasts, so they didn't know who I was, but they recognized the logo. So yeah, I felt a little bit awkward, and but you know, all the podcasters are nice, you know, even if you don't know them, you just go up to them and they say hi to you and ask you how you're doing. It's very difficult to try to talk to some of them. And so yeah, I mean, maybe next year it could be a little bit better organized. I don't know. There's nobody really plans these things, from what I understand. You just kind of show up and then you talk to people. Unfortunately, I couldn't talk to everybody that I wanted to talk to because it was, you know, it was just so many people there, and I'm sure after an hour, if you're, you know, a popular podcaster, you've been talking to people for a whole hour straight, and we're exhausted and just wanted to leave. And that's slowly what started happening. You know, people started going their separate ways, you know, wanting to check out this booth or wanting to go eat something, and then there was no chance for me to go and talk to them because I was only there for Saturday. And you know, some of them were only there that day, or they stayed the whole weekend. So maybe next year we can do something just podcaster meetup, just for podcasters. So yeah, that's just a suggestion. Like I said, I don't think anybody plans these things. You just show up on the hill, which was like not really a hill. When I walked in, I had to, you know, ask where the meetup was, and it was just like on this tiny hill. Meanwhile, in the grounds, there's like other sections that have bigger hills. So yeah, luckily I found out where it was, because I wouldn't have no idea where the meetup is. So yeah, I don't know. It's just a little bit frustrating because I've been podcasting for how long, and nobody seems to know who I am. I don't know. Maybe I'll cut this out. I don't know. So yeah, I had a fun time at Rhinebeck, and I definitely want to go next year. I want to go, hopefully, the whole weekend. I want to check out the Indie Untangled show, because there's a lot of dyers that I like, and I probably would have bought more yarn if I had gone to the Indie Untangled show. Yeah. So also, I forgot to mention some gifts I received when I was there. I was speaking to Tania of the KNIT-ENSIONS podcast that I was gonna get into quilting, and she actually works for a quilting company and is really big into sewing and all that stuff. And she had she had fabric stashed in her car. So I was looking through the prints, and I found one that screamed Yoshi and Lucy to me. So yeah, look at your little kitties. So I will add this to a quilt someday. So yeah, I really like it. And she got me a giant square ruler. I'm guessing you use this to square off your blocks. From what little I've read about quilting, that's what you do. And I also received some yarn from her husband, Michael. So we rode up with him, Tania, and Jacqueline of the Brooklyn Knit Folk podcast. And so Michael is an indie dyer. Well, he started as a knitwear designer, and now he's branching out into dyeing. So they gave me like this little package with mini skeins. So here's this tag. And yeah, so that was really nice of them to give me stuff. because I didn't have anything besides my buttons. So yeah, that's about it about Rhinebeck. So this week I've been dyeing some more yarn since I've come back from my trip. I don't have that much to show yet because my schedule got a little bit out of whack because I had to do some doctor visits this week, and just the weather has been pretty bad, and it's hard for me inside to see some days. It's really dark, so I ordered another lamp, so hopefully I can see better in what I'm doing. But I did dye up some stuff to show you. So this is unnamed so far. I was just playing around with some new dye I have. Here's the second one. And this is on my sock base, Isabel. So I have those two. And this one I'm really, really happy with. I wanted to dye some yarn based on these birds I saw in Ecuador. If you saw my my vlog from Salinas, Ecuador, we rode on a boat out off the coast of Ecuador, and we saw all these blue-footed boobies, which is like these blue-footed birds, which normally you see them in Galapagos. That's where most of them are, but I was surprised to see them so close to the mainland, just chilling out. And they're really cute birds. If you guys haven't seen them, you need to Google or check on YouTube blue-footed boobies dance, because they do like this little mating dance that is like adorable, and they just look so funny. So here's the yarn that I dyed inspired by them. So this is on my sock base, and this is on my 100% merino base, which is a new yarn that I'm trying out, and I think this is 490 yards, so you get a lot of yardage. So I'm gonna have this in the shop soon. I don't have a set time or date yet, but to check out Instagram, that's usually where I announce stuff. So I'm really happy with this yarn, how it's come out. And I went to Galapagos back years ago. I think I was like 15, and they're really funny birds. They're not afraid of humans at all. When we went to go, in Galapagos we did like little island hopping and on a boat. So we went to like this tiny island where a ton of them live, and our tour guide said, stay on this little like rock path and don't go off of it because you don't want to disturb their habitat. So we were walking down this path, and there was just these two birds just standing there staring at us, and as you get closer they wouldn't move. They would just stare at you, and like they were checking you out at the same time that you were checking them out. It was really funny. So they're really comical birds. And so I was like walking along the path, they're standing right in front of me, and I had to like go around them to get to keep going because they wouldn't move. They just wanted to stare at you. So yeah, I always have fondness for these birds, and hoping I can go to Galapagos again someday just to explore more of the islands, because I didn't get to see everything. So yeah, that's about it for this week. I am going to include some clips from Rhinebeck at the end, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.